Hi, I'm Magnolia, and in this video I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that I like to use when practicing choreography to help me memorize it and execute the moves better. So feel free to keep watching if you'd like to see some tips for choreography practice. Okay, so tip number one is to document your choreography. It probably seems kind of obvious, but it actually isn't to a lot of dancers, and I know for sure when I started out, I never wrote anything down. So I like to make sure that tip number one for choreography practice is to document it. You can write it down in a notebook. That's what I like to do because notebooks are really cute, especially with this little gold border. But what I do is I just write it down and I use timestamps for markers, and I usually choreograph it in sections. So at the first part of the song, I'll document how long I'm holding up stage, how I'm entering, and then I'll document it down by time. And then I'll also leave, I can come back and I can write notes for sections as well after I've gone through and analyzed it. So you can use a notebook to write down your choreographies, or you can use a computer program like an Excel document, and you can have different columns for time, movements, and notes. Either way, documenting is great because then you can go back and look over these notes later and make sure that you executed it the way that you had originally envisioned. Tip number two would be to record yourself. So this feels really awkward when you first start doing it. I know, because I remember when I first recorded myself dancing, I couldn't watch it without cringing. It was just so embarrassing, but trust me, it gets easier over time and it's such a great tool. So this first video that you take with the entire choreography to music is going to be your reference guide that you use to improve your practice over time. So after that, step number three is to practice your choreography in sections very slowly. This usually feels counterintuitive to practice it slowly, especially if the song is super high speed or a drum solo. If you don't take anything out of this video but one thing, let it be this: to practice your choreography super slowly while you're watching yourself. So what you can do is use your reference video to check out your choreography in sections. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to reference the first 23 seconds of my choreography. So I went ahead and I filmed it, and I'll show you what it looks like right now at full speed. So now that I've documented my dance, I'm gonna go ahead and practice those first 23 seconds. So here we go, starting with my entrance. Turning very slowly, making sure that I document my spot. Making sure now that I hit all the details, such as the head lift. Making sure that I can hold this position, getting good balance into this part. Making sure I'm in the mirror here to look at these movements. Making sure that I execute it all the way up to the head lift and the toe point. So I would go ahead and practice that section very slowly a few times, speeding it up as you go. And then I would do it again to music and see how it looks now after that practice. And you can compare it while using your reference video that you took before to the current video that you're taking now after your slow practice. After that, tip number four would be to practice your choreography full speed in costume with your hair the way it's supposed to be. This is really important as well because sometimes when you practice movements in yoga pants, when you do them with a big flowy skirt on, or like a tight trumpet skirt, or a skirt with a slit, you don't notice from practicing yoga pants that maybe you flashed your butt to the audience, or maybe your foot gets tangled in a movement. So very important to practice in your actual costume. Make sure you don't trip, but then also the hair, make sure your hair is in whatever style is going to be, because sometimes if you have head movements or choreography, you want to make sure that it doesn't get in your face. So for instance, in this drum solo that I'm doing, I do have some head circles, so I make sure to practice that with my hair down so that I can make sure that I get it out of my face. Tip number 5, this relates primarily to the execution part, is to have someone view your video that you do when you're in full costume with your hair in its whatever style it's going to be in. Having someone else view your video is a great tool to help you sort of get out of your own head and see what the audience is going to see when you actually perform it. So I know it can be really scary to ask someone to view your video. It's very personal, but remember, you are about to perform it in front of an audience, so it's better to get all those kinks worked out beforehand than after you perform it on stage. So even though it can be embarrassing, I just think it's great to get a friend or a teacher to view your choreography for you and see if there's any little things that can be, you know, switched up, or even actually some cool ideas can come from it for sure. Things that you never would have thought of that suddenly become your favorite move ever, and that's definitely happened to me. So that's it for my tips and tricks for choreography practice. Feel free to leave some tips that you use yourself in the comments below so I can incorporate them into my own practice, and I hope that these were helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, and if you'd like to see more performance videos or instructional videos, feel free to check out my channel. Thanks!